Today's episode is sponsored by Permanent Hearing Damage, which is a recording studio based in Philadelphia, owned and operated by Steve Roche from Seisha, Offminer, Boer War, which you're hearing now, and many others. They've spent the last 25 years specializing in recording, mixing, mastering for punk, hardcore, metal, and related genres at artist-friendly prices. Some recent clients include Piers, Foxtails, Masanera, Closer, Rambo, Stinking Lizaveta, Sanagi, and Witching. Contact Permanent Hearing Damage via their website, permanenthearingdamage.com.
Hello, and welcome to Everything Remade, a podcast that I hope is about growth as much as it is about music. I'm Aster Lyra, and I'd like to play something for you. You're hearing Prael by Coma Regalia, featuring my new pal, Edie Quinn.
I guess, the first show I ever played was a birthday party. It was, it was for my friend Jeff Hyman. And yes, of course, Jeff heard all the jokes in high school.
Is that the guy from Slayer or something like same name anyway?
Oh, you know what? I probably... we listened to plenty of Slayer, but I probably didn't even know that at the time. Funny enough, there was sort of a group of us, and I had all the SST Records bands tapes, like Descendants, Adolescents, and I had, Suicidal Tendencies, Metallica. I had all these tapes, right? And my friend Arthur had all of the Christian Death and, Slayer and the death metal, my friend Arthur had all that stuff. And then my friend Casey had all of The Cure and the Smiths. And so it was I had all the skate punk stuff. My friend Arthur had all the metal and goth slash deathy stuff. And then my friend Casey had all the sad girl stuff. And
right.
And so, when you could ask me about the lineage of Descendants or something, how many guitar players and bass players they had and stuff like that. But when it comes to Slayer and, Christian Death and all of this kind of stuff, I'm sort of but yeah, anyway, so see, we were already there. Anyway, right. So it was my friend Jeff Hyman's birthday. I want to say it was his 16th birthday, but I'm not for sure. I know that I was older than that. I was 16 or 17 at the time. I had just gotten a guitar. Maybe I had a guitar for 3 or 4 months at this point. And his band was called Dark Dominion. And they, right? And they, I don't even know if they had their own songs. We only had our own songs, but they were just Nirvana ripoffs, or they were just Descendants ripoffs, or whatever. But they were like
Hmm.
our songs. We didn't cover songs. And their band, I don't know if they had their own songs. They were like the vocalist like worshiped the Misfits, and this was this guy that like all the girls around like thought he was so hot and stuff. He wanted to look like Glenn Danzig, and he acted like Glenn Danzig, and this like his band was like kind of the most popular band in school, and the only thing I really remember is they did like Misfits covers, and they probably did like some actual Danzig covers as well, with or without the guitar solos. I don't remember, but the big thing that I remember is they covered "Wood" by Alice in Chains, and the bass guitar wasn't like set up to be played like in I probably just dropped D, right? So it shouldn't have been that big a
Probably,
deal.
yeah.
But I just remember like either it's possible that it just wasn't quite tuned correctly either. But I just remember I'm like, this sounds so bad. Like the string, the blum, blum, blum.
Yeah.
And but we we played, and it was just like I was just like this, like it felt like we probably played for like 30 minutes or something, way longer than I'd play now, right? But it felt like
Right.
5 seconds. And afterwards, like, it was a whole thing. I don't remember who was doing it, but I actually have a videotape of this now, which no one will ever see, ever. Um, but so I don't know who had the video camera, but everybody was going around after, and people were asking questions. It's sort of like like this. It's just like, so how was that? Like, how do you feel and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
I don't know what my deal is. I don't think I was just trying to be cool, but I was just like I was just like I can't talk about this. Like you just look at me and I'm like a deer in headlights. But I was like, this is incredible. And I remember we went out in the back yard after we played, and there was like a fire back there, and everybody was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. Is Southwest Florida
Naturally.
in the middle of summer or whatever it was, and
Oof.
and we were just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. And yeah, from there we were like, you could so you can do this at like somebody's house. Like, could you do like where else could you do this? And
Yeah.
like it took us a while, but we started just like I got us to where like sometimes this one bar would like let us play before they opened, or they'd like just do a thing where they'd be like, there's no alcohol sales tonight. And there's no way this was legal, to just like, they say they're not going to sell alcohol, so it's legal to let kids in. There's no way this was actually legal. But
Yeah.
it's like our town, it was like, who's going to say anything? Like, the
Hmm.
same three cops knew everybody, and like whatever. So I don't know. And we ended up like doing that. And then like I started just doing like, we built this stage to go up to the edge of our practice space, and we started doing shows just like at our practice space until we sort of got caught doing that. And I don't know, the rest is history. It's like, you know
That's really interesting. So the first show that I played, it was I was in the 8th grade, so I was like 13. It was my girlfriend at the time's birthday party, and we played outside. Like she and I think like her brother or something like that. They built like this, shitty little stage out of like tabletops. It was probably like 6 inches high or something. And I'm pretty sure nobody really heard anything. Like it sounded terrible outside, But I never thought of that as a house show, because I was thinking I've never played a house show before, but that's the only house show I've played.
Yeah. Yeah, you're outside, so it feels different, I guess.
Yeah, and like that band wasn't exactly good, so I don't usually count it. But
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it was they took everything out of the dining room, and that's where we played. And
okay,
and after the show was over, we had to help put everything back in the dining room. And it was like, okay, I mean, that's cool. You should help. But
right.
yeah, but we were
Respect
just
the
like,
space, everybody.
yeah, but we were just like, I don't know, I don't know where this fucking table goes. It was
Right.
it was all it wasn't here when we got here. So yeah, and it was just like, oh, put that over there. And I remember Jeff's mother was really nice. I remember that. And like, I don't I don't remember if Jeff's dad was there or in the picture. I'm not sure, but I remember Jeff's mom was very sweet. And there was there was you know it was it, it was a whole night, everybody hanging out. And you go and you're looking for somebody, and you go into the back room, and you're like, oh, I didn't mean to see people doing that. And it was like that. Like, so, this person's mom was there, but it was a bit like one of those movies, but without like the drinking. But some
Right,
people
right.
some people were doing some stuff outside that they weren't supposed to be doing. But sorry, Jeff's mom. It wasn't me though at the time. Maybe later I would have done something like that, but you know, there was a window of time when you could have caught me doing something like that, but not then, and not for a long time since. But yeah. Then we end up like uh, doing all kinds of house shows at this other place. It wasn't my house and it wasn't my shows, but played in this band called No Fraud, which I've been thinking about a lot lately, because I'm doing this comic about sort of this time period. And
Is that
they
the one the history?
oh no, that's sort of a Dance and Destroy comic. But
Okay.
yeah. No, but I do in Why I Hate the Festival, I go through a bit of the sort of no fraud stuff where, like, I was just out of high school, and this band was like, do you want to sub on tour for us? And I end up being in the band for a little bit, but it started like that, and they took me on my first tour. But before then, it was like, um, it was these guys, and they were older than me, and they were like, yeah, we'll teach you all about like going on tour and like stuff like that. And
That fucking rules.
yeah, it really did. And they had um, the vocalist had a Dan Destructo. He had a studio, which was like, I mean, it's probably still the nicest studio I've ever recorded in, but it was just a fucking punk guy. It's just like he
Yep.
had this enormous fucking board, and he had like really nice shit. And he he had it, like, you recorded in the garage, but it was like soundproofed. But like,
Hmm.
and then just on the inside of the garage, where there was like, I don't know what it was, like, that was like the room. And there was the whole, like, you could see through the glass, and he could talk to you through the mic. And it was like the whole
Holy shit.
real thing, like you expect at a studio. And
Hmm.
then right outside that garage, sort of on the other side, like, if you're in the garage, it's to your right, is a fucking half pipe. And like, which they built.
Yeah,
And he would do shows, and you would play like,
in the middle of the half pipe.
no, you would play on top, because
Oh,
the top of it was so big. Like, there was
damn.
enough room. They made it that way. It was so big that you could play on top of it. And later I did play in a half pipe at Soy Bomb in Toronto, which was also awesome. But like, we played on
Mhm.
top. And that was, so that was like a different kind of house show, more like what you're talking about, where you're like outside. And um
Yeah.
that was in the middle of fucking nowhere in Sarasota, Florida, and like, um, and those were just wild shows because they'd go. It felt like you were there, you were playing until like 2 a.m. or whatever. But maybe it's just because you were like way more drunk than you should have been playing, and stuff like that. But it was like, yeah, um, I mean, good times. I mean, uh, Dan still plays. No Fraud is still a band. They don't play that much. They get together and play in either California. I'm not sure if Dan is back living in Florida. Last I knew, Dan lived in California, and they would get together like once a year or whatever for like a long weekend of shows in Florida. But this is a band,
Okay.
like they had records on Nuclear Blast, and
Oh, damn.
yeah, and they were around since like fucking 1980, and yeah, I mean, killer band, killer band. They're especially like for like I mean like the shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm too close to it, but like they're the kind of band like that stuff seldom holds up as well as they do for me. Like,
Yeah.
it's wild. They have a 7-inch from like 1984 or something, and it's like
Wow.
that kind of shit like is really popular now. It sounds different, right? Because it's recorded different and stuff. But that kind of stuff is
Yeah.
like really popular now, and like still no one, I mean, I don't mean to sound disrespectful to say no one knows about them, because like in Florida they're like legendary. But like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They don't come up in the conversation like they should. Like it's really, I don't know. People should go check them out. So yeah, so that's the end of the episode. Go check out No, but yeah. Very cool stuff.
Okay. Um, so would you say any of those are the most memorable show you've ever played?
Um, I don't know,
Or
like
what would be the most memorable show you've played?
most memorable is hard because there's a reason that so many shows are so special to me.
Mhm.
Um, like the last New Friends Fest we played when Katie came over from UK, and I got up and did the song that I did vocals on their album for. And and my mic wasn't on, and I didn't know that. But but like we didn't know that either at the time, and we were just like, this is fucking incredible. And we also played, and it was amazing. Like we had just like, I don't know if we were good, but we had such a good time. It was Jason and Nate and myself, and
Mhm.
and just, yeah, just like that whole thing, right? Like Nate and I, like we drove 9 hours straight there, and we
Damn.
played and enjoyed the rest of the fest, and then we came back right after. So Nate and I were like, between the car ride there and the car ride back, them and I were like in this car or at the show for like 26 hours. Like we were
Yeah, that's
awake
wild.
hanging out together, and just like, and like it's like that whole thing, like my voice was like shot to shit by the time we
Oh
got
yeah.
back from just like chatting with them and like the show and everything else. And but it's like we were just like, this is bonkers, but we were like, I'd do this again tomorrow if they asked. We just had such a good time.
Hell yeah.
And then, yeah, like Miss the Stars, like that, just being in Europe and being on tour with Katie, and just like making lifelong friends with them, and then playing this festival, which like, I'll leave it up to New Friends Fest and Miss the Stars. I'll leave it up to them to like argue about like who had more people there. I don't know. They both felt huge for us, but like
Mhm.
Miss the Stars, that was like easily the most people we'd play for at that at that time, and we were just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck, we're in Germany playing music, and like, you know, like, it's like, you know, I don't know, like, when I was growing up, like, this is all I ever wanted to do, and like, I think that when people's parents are encouraging to their playing music, like, that is the most incredible thing ever, because my parents were not.
Oh
And
yeah, mine weren't either.
and when I was growing up, all I ever heard was like, if it wasn't for us kids, like, somebody could have been a rock star or whatever, right? That's all I fucking heard, right? And I'm in Europe playing music that I wrote.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, you know what? Like, I'll never make a living doing this, but like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I did this. Like, while you blamed, like, I only ever heard one song this man wrote my entire life. You know what I mean? Like, so
Mhm.
like, I'm here doing this, and you just blamed all your failures on like children, literally children. You know,
Which
and
is wild. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, so I don't know. There's so, I mean, and there's just like, I don't know. There's a million. You know, it's just like, I could sit here and just be like, oh yeah, and then there was this one, and then there was this one. You know what I mean? Because it's just,
Mhm.
there's always something. There's always like, you know, there,
So
like, when we played the first last capacity shows, because I don't know how many last capacity show there's been, but when we played the first last capacity show and Tom dedicated one of the songs to me, like, I was literally crying. I was like, what the fuck is this, like,
oh
because like, I'm like, this this guy is the reason that I play this kind of music. Like, his band was my favorite band, and and then I'm on tour with his band, and he's playing on albums that I wrote, and he's played bass in my band, like, on tours, and
yeah.
it was just like, what the fuck. Yeah, so there's a million.
So I'm sure that you would have had to have said this at some point over 300 episodes, but what was the first show that you saw?
Well, okay, so, you know, there's only a few times growing up when I really remember my dad trying to uh like bond with me or whatever. But
Hmm.
the first show I ever went to, like, the first thing was, my dad got concert tickets to, it was Winger, Cinderella, and the Bullet Boys, and I feel like there was another band, but I can't remember. I looked it up when I did like a Instagram comic about it, like 5 6 years
Okay.
ago. Um, but yeah, Cinderella and Winger and Bullet Boys, and I loved guitar music. I was like, I don't know, you know, I was like 9 or 10 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just fucking loved guitar music. So like, I was all about it. You know, and 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 if you read the comic, you can see that my dad and his friends were doing some shit they shouldn't have been doing around a kid my age. But anyway, and
Yeah, you'll have that.
I don't remember that much about it. You know what I mean? But I remember I was just
Okay.
like, I remember my dad did the thing. My dad put me up on his shoulders, and I just remember that there's really only like one or two other times in my whole childhood when I felt like my dad liked me, and so it was like pretty cool. But like, I don't remember, like, it was like loud rock music, and I was, you know, like, I probably had the time of my life, you know, at the time. But I remember
Right, right.
the first show I went to later with my friends, which was a much more memorable experience overall. Just I actually remember more of it, was the Dead Milkmen at Janus Landing in St. Petersburg when we were like
Oh, that would
16.
be sick.
Yeah, it was fucking so cool. Yeah, I was just like, fuck yeah, like, this is everything, you know, punk music,
Yeah.
like, loud as fuck with my friends, you know. Yeah,
Hmm.
it was awesome.
Tiff's mom was like super into hair metal. glam rock or whatever. Um, no lie, Tiff has a fucking Cinderella shirt in the closet right now.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Lauren has like some friends that like, I don't know. Occasionally they just like swap clothes or whatever. So this one friend
Mhm.
sent her this box of clothes that she like didn't want anymore or whatever. Like, hey, you go through these, you know. And there's a Def Leppard, like, it's not exactly a long sleeve, but it's not a short sleeve either. It's like one of those baseball, like 3/4 things. And I fucking
Mhm.
totally have that. Like, I totally kept it. And I'm not, I'm not even like huge on Def Leppard, but like, I'm like, this is badass. Like, because I
Right.
got it for free, you know? Um, but I am not gonna lie, and I don't know what album this is. I would assume that it's like I think there's a live like a Hysteria live. So I would assume it's that. But I heard this one live Def Leppard album where you can like actually hear the bass guitar really well, and I was like,
Mhm.
it and like you hear the you on this live album you could hear the separation of the instruments just in a way that you usually wouldn't on the live on a recording because it's just like so vocally focused, especially for that
Right.
style. um and I was like, this band is actually like super good, like musically. Like there's
Hell yeah.
just, you know, you're just like, because when you listen to just like the here's the single, you know, and you've heard 10, 15 Def Leppard singles in your lifetime, you you catch the vocals and you catch the guitar solos, and you like everything
Right.
else is kind of just like whatever. But I remember listening at some point, just hearing this like live album, and I was like, this band is actually like this isn't just like, I don't know. There's a lot of like um sort of like, I don't know what to call this shit, you know, but there's a lot of like individual like picking things happening, and like, you know, you're like, it's kind of, there's a lot of kind of emo shit happening. You know, it's kind of cool. But
That's
yeah,
sick.
yeah,
Yeah, honestly, I wish that more records you could actually hear the bass, like live or not.
yeah, yeah. Especially
'Cause I-
for that time, there's so much of it that's just like, you're like, I don't know, you know.
right. Yeah, I mean, I grew up being told, the bass was the easiest instrument, and all you got to play is like three notes or whatever, and you got a song and that type of shit. And like, punk rock, that's cool, that's fine, but like also, I feel like a lot of like cultural zeitgeist. I don't know, like the culture around the bass guitar changed as I was growing up, and I hated it because I met a couple of really good bass players, and I was like, people need to know about you guys.
Yeah, yeah. It's, I don't know. It's funny though, because like, you know, there's a there's a not like, not culturally, and not like this just happened like as a thing, but for me personally, like while this was all happening, a big proponent of that was like obviously Les Claypool of Primus, and everybody that was like a bass player that was really into Primus took all these sort of lessons the wrong way. Like in a
Yeah,
way, you know what I mean? Like where it was
how to
like,
be as annoying as
yeah,
possible
yeah,
on the
exactly. It's
bass.
like, yeah, but you know why he can do that is because he's so fucking good. Like, and
Mhm.
he's writing the songs to be that way. Like you can't just go into every song like, I slap at the bass, you know, like
Right, fucking Red Hot Chili Peppers.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. So like one of my first punk bands, like the bass player was like huge into Primus, and you like like I'm writing Suffer era Bad Religion ripoffs, and there is
Mhm.
definitely slap bass all over this, and I'm like, well, it's my friend, and it's cool being in a band with my friend, so we're doing this. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe sometimes it worked, I don't know. I'm not going to listen to that again to find out.
I can see the vision.
Yeah.
I don't know if he could, but I can.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's it's cool to like be able to appreciate it later, and then you're like, you're like, the bass player from Duran Duran is one of the fucking greatest bass players I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? You're like this.
Mhm.
Everybody's like Matt Freeman from Rancid, and you're like, yes, very good. But then you're like, but the bass player from Duran Duran though, it's like Duran Duran's bass lines might be harder than Rancid. I don't know. Like, it's crazy.
Here's something. Matt Freeman to punk rock is Midwest emo twinkle tap to punk rock.
I mean, I
Do you
see.
know what I mean?
I see where you're going. Yeah, yeah. It's
It's like, yeah, he was good, but like too much of it sounded the fucking same,
Oh
and too
yeah,
much of it was like uh spotlight grabbing. You know what I mean? It
yeah, yeah.
to where the song loses value.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the Operation Ivy LP was like perfect in my opinion, but
Yeah.
like, but then I don't know, and people's favorite Rancid albums, like I'm like, oh, I already stopped listening by then, because I was bored.
Yeah.
Like I was just honestly just like the first one, I was like, oh yeah, okay, all right. Then like, um, the second one, I was like, oh, this is the first one, but less punk. It feels less punk. And then the third one, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. Um, but like, yeah, it was just it was like it was it, it was a run, right? A lot of it was a
Mhm.
run that you learn, and so
Yeah, exactly.
like, yeah, it's hard as fuck. Like it's super talented, and when there was stuff where it wasn't just like a run, like you're like, yeah, that's badass. Like, but sometimes it was just a run, and like it was probably fun as hell to do. I'm not like knocking him. Obviously, he's like 10
Yeah.
times the musician I'll ever be. But like you know,
Yeah, the
I
bass is fun to play. Like, I don't even care what you're playing. It's
yeah,
fun.
I always gravitated to shit like Fire Hose or something in as opposed to Rancid or something, because like I've heard that Mike Watt's not necessarily like such a cool person either, so this isn't like an outright endorsement of Mike Watt as a person who I don't know. Um, but
Right.
like but like the Fire Hose bass riffs, they're hard as fuck, but they're also like you will not hear that anywhere else in any other song
Mhm.
anywhere. Like a song that I uh, that I learned on bass when I ever first had a bass guitar around me. Um,
Mhm.
I think now like is the song Chemical Wire, and it's the bass line in it is so fucking wild. It is so fucking cool. It's hard for me to play. Probably if you're good at bass, it's not hard for you to play, but it's just so fun to play. It moves around so much, and the way that it moves is so, it feels so um, anti. It feels like that's not the way you should do it. It feels like,
Like counterintuitive.
yeah, counterintuitive. That's the word I'm looking for. It feels so counterintuitive, but you're just like, once you can play it, you're like, this is so fucking cool. And like, if I got a minute and there's a bass guitar, like that's the first thing I'm playing. Like, it's
Hell yeah.
it's just like, and there's all these slides and stuff that just like the timing has to be right, or it's like it's dumb. It doesn't sound right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's fucking so cool. Yeah.
I think if I pick up a bass, it's the Disintegration bass line.
Yeah. I mean, that's an all timer.
Yeah.
Like, that's a band right there. Like, and I'll say another band afterwards, which people will be like, "Oh, I'm never listening to her talk about music again because fuck her opinion." But like, that's a band right there. Like, The Cure is a band Like the bass lines are just like they're untouchable. But like especially
Right.
that song. Like that song does
Mhm.
not exist without that bass line. Like it doesn't
No, not at
it's
all.
not, you know. But the other thing is like this band like and look, we know they're tools. We know that these people are absolute tools, and we know that everything that they've done since like 1990 whatever, insert a date, everything they've done since then is fucking terrible. And like especially the incident, which, you know, I don't have to say what the incident was. As soon as I say the band name, everybody knows what the incident was.
Right.
But as but they are talented. Each one of them's talented, even though the vocalist is probably the biggest knob in the world. But like, they're all
Yeah.
talented. But this band does not exist without the bass player. And for all of their faults, they did write, and I'll stand on this. Like, they did write some of the greatest like songs like that we'll ever know. Like, U2, like New Year's Day, like they wrote a couple songs that are like some of the greatest songs that we'll ever know. You know what I mean? And like,
Mhm.
like everything they did since then, like let's not talk about it. And we know the incident. We know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say what the incident was. We know, and they're absolute fucking tools. You know, especially the vocalist. But like,
Yeah.
but like, you know, hands down as talented as like they don't even have songs without that bass player. You know what I'm saying? They
Right.
fucking
Right.
don't. Like name 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 a guitar name a song of theirs that the guitar matters in. Like it's cool, it's additive, and like they wouldn't be the same band without the guitar, but like you could have had those songs with another guitar player. You will not have those songs with another. You know what I mean? They don't exist without
Right.
that
Right.
bass player. Like, and you know, like I don't know. There's REM's another band like that. Like, where well they would exist without the bass player. Like their songs would still be the songs, but like that REM's bass player is fucking crazy underrated. Like so fucking good. Like you listen to REM again, focus on the bass, and you're like, your mind will be blown. You're like, I never knew this was happening, because it's like,
I'm gonna have to do that now.
because it's that same kind of thing where you're used to like it's so in the pocket, and it's so like it's so just doing what it's supposed to be doing to like make the song a great song. You don't even notice
Mhm.
like this guy is fucking ripping right now. Like it's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We talk about bass guitar for half an hour. It's like that's not even like I and like when I play bass, like it's like no one has ever been like she's a good bass player. You know what I mean? Like never. Like people don't even know. They're just like people don't even know like how much bass I've played. You know, it's funny. But yeah. Like
Yeah.
I've only ever been asked to play bass like on a thing one time, which like it blew my mind, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. And and yeah, but like people don't even know how much bass I play. Like I don't even know how much bass I play. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I played bass on this. Oh yeah. And then I'll be like, oh, that's a kind of a fun riff. Like I don't really remember doing that. That's fun.
So, did you ever record the bass for Coma?
Oh yeah,
Um.
I recorded whole albums, like lots of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I recorded all of the bass for Coma Regalia um, until Tom. Uh, you know what? It might have been it might be Tom Burkett that was the first person to play. I can't remember if Tom Burkett or Tom Schlatter played bass on a Coma thing first, but
Okay.
one of the Toms was the first one. So I played bass on all of our stuff until uh, um, I don't know which came first. Whether it was the split 7-inch with um, oh my god, Dryafen. I don't know if it was which came first, that or the split tape with Indisposed and and all them, because Tom Schlatter played bass on that, and Tom Burkett played bass on the split 7-inch with Dreoff, and and those were their first recordings that I think that anybody else played on. And then Nate played on the split with Burial Etiquette. And I have played bass on a couple things, just like when it was like, oh, this is for a compilation and it has to get done fast, you know?
Yeah.
And but I usually like to have somebody else play it now, because I know some people that are really good at bass, you know.
So like around like 2018,
Yeah,
maybe.
something like that. But yeah,
Okay.
I played bass on Inspirata. I played bass on Ours Is the Cause. I played everything on Ours Is the Cause. I played everything except for some guitar parts on There's Still Time. I played everything on The Mirror, everything on Valfail Go, and then from there, I've sort of not been playing bass, but I played on some of it,
Okay.
just like a comp song or like a cover, or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
At what point did you stop playing drums live?
When we got asked to come over and tour Europe with Katie,
Hmm.
you know, um, when Coma Regalia started, Mark and I, we talked about the Sensei Camille when I first met Mark when he was 16 and used to come to all of our shows. Sensei Camille, Mark and I were always like, oh, when Mark is like, when I get out of school and I have my own car, like we got to start a band, and uh, and that's how Coma Regalia started, and I was like, yeah, I'll play drums until we find somebody. But that's
Hmm.
like literally the reason why all my bands always broke up, is because like nobody played drums. So
Yeah.
playing drums until I find somebody turned into like a 7-8 year thing.
Right.
And when we got asked to come to Europe, I was like, this is it. Like, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not playing drums in this band in Europe. Like, because I just, I couldn't, I couldn't express myself like in the way it's to me. It's very fun to play drums and do vocals at the same, or it was like, it might not be now because like I don't have the breath that I used to have. I have to get back into that,
Right.
But it was really fun to do that, especially because like I would just realize like, oh, I'm not like sitting down anymore, and it would just be fun. It just to get lost and just be be connecting with like these different sides where you get to hit things really hard and be
Yeah.
and get your frustration out and vent and have this form of catharsis, and also you're doing the vocals, which is this other thing, and so I thought it was a lot of fun, but I wasn't I didn't I just felt like you know I could I could feel I could feel like the music was that I was connecting with people at the show better, and that was I could feel like I was a bigger part of the reaction, and the performance if I wasn't behind the drum shells.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like,
Absolutely.
I'm not doing this in Europe. So we had played a show with Jason's band in Indianapolis, and I was like, this person's like, like pretty cool. And then when we went on tour, we played a show in Spokane, and Jason's like, I can't remember what band it was, but Jason's band played, and Jason played drums, and and I was like, this person's like really fucking good at drums, like
Yeah.
like mechanically good at drums. And I was like, just sort of keep that idea in my pocket, for the future. And then that
Yeah.
tour happened, and literally, like, I don't even know, like, within, it felt like days, or at the most days. It felt like it was like the same day. Jason just goes on Facebook and is like, so does any bands want to take me on tour with them? And I'm like,
Wow.
this is insane, right? So I just send him a message and I'm like, hey, like, this is the complete opposite of an expenses paid situation. This is
Yeah.
like, we pay situation, but would you want to do this? And he was like, oh, hell yeah. And then I was like, well, what do you feel like how do you feel about, like, you learn these songs and you come out here and we have we have this tour, but you do a couple more, like, extra days and we record drums for an album. And
Oh, that's sick.
and that's when we recorded Marked. Like, we recorded the drums for Marked on one of those tours. And yeah. That was it. I was like, yeah, I'm not playing drums in this band anymore. I was like, this is too much fun. Like, I'm for whatever reason, I'm way more nervous, like, playing guitar and singing, even though that's something that I did for a lot longer than. It's just, I don't know. Hopefully, when I'm not the only guitar player anymore, and it doesn't matter if I suck ass, then, like, then I'll be less nervous. But only time will tell.
Can someone stop me from sinking? Falling down. Could something else ever happen? I'm falling down. Will somehow just orchestrate all alone. Made for but not ever destined.
I remember, like, the first time that I played, like, a real show, not like a backyard show, when when I was older than 13. And so I was playing guitar and singing in this band. And like when we start, like I feel my fingers like tingle, like numb. And like I don't think I fucked up or anything like that, but like I was like so anxious that like I couldn't even feel the guitar anymore. But thankfully the shit just happened.
Yeah.
Um, but like the nervous energy, I don't know if I could, at least not for like, at least not for stuff that's requires me to actually be good at drums. I don't know if I could like rein in that nervous energy enough to like keep keep consistent time. I feel like I would want to be rushing and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, um I don't know. I mean, I am guilty of like playing everything as fast as I could possibly play it, like on purpose. So there was that, but
Then you're never rushing because you're always rushing.
yeah. But I mean, at the same time, like when you're playing like in a living room in Austin, Texas, that is like packed to like packed to the brim, so much where like you're pushed against this wall and worried that you're gonna fall halfway out of it like during your set. And like yeah, it's like you're not trying to get it over with, but you're like also like yeah, like let's make this happen, like
Mhm.
let's make this happen before it doesn't, or something. Yeah, it's I don't know. You're like you just start clicking faster. Let me just say that. You might not realize it, but you're like you just start clicking faster, and you're like, oh shit, yeah.
Right, right. Um, so you mentioned the Fort Wayne show. You said that there would be some CDs for new Coma Regalia. Do you want to talk about that?
Um, yeah, sure. Yeah, there'll be CDs. The new album is called "All the World's Most Beautiful Liars." Um, it's it took we we more or less recorded it like in 2 days. We the music, that is. We like I demoed some stuff out beforehand, about half of it, and then we came up with the rest of it sort of on the spot. There's definitely it's definitely different. Um, it's everything isn't like played at breakneck speed, like like Altimecia, Um,
Mhm.
it's it's changed like the shape of the record in my brain like has changed shape since we recorded it. Like it feels different now than it did when we recorded it, which
Yeah.
which um isn't I don't think that's a good or a bad thing. I think it just is what it is. Um
Yeah.
and I don't think that I'm going to know like I'm too close to it right now, Like
Mhm.
I don't think I'm going to know what I think about it in the long run. Like just how I didn't know about any like there's not ever been an album that we've recorded where I've known like immediately where I was like like maybe The Mirror is the only one that I've ever recorded where I was like, this is my favorite, and it's still my favorite, Like, and I don't know, this isn't like a glowing, like, hey, you should listen to this album. It's just, like, this is something that I don't talk about a lot, which is just like the struggle that I personally have where, no matter what the album is like I just, I have some version of imposter syndrome or something while I'm making it.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
and I and it's not that I don't believe in what I'm singing about. It's not that I don't like believe in the people I played with and believe, we did the thing, but it's just like
Hmm.
sometimes like, halfway through, no matter what, it's what like what what is the thing that makes this from the very beginning of it to the very end of it? Like, what's the thing that has to happen or did happen or whatever to where, and it's like, we've done this enough times, like,
Hmm.
and people out there, like, you may relate, like, it's like when you've done it enough times, you're like, well, I just have to get the vocals compressed and I just have to get the right reverb on the drums and I just have to like, and so you know what I'm saying, where it's just like there's a, I know that at some point, you're being illogical because like you're every time you hit play while you're mixing or whatever, every time you hit
Hmm.
play, you're expecting the fully finished version to come back in your headphones, and somewhere inside you know the work that you still need to do to make it that version, but like it's not coming out yet. And like
Yeah.
as an artist, like every time the thing is not what it's supposed to be in your brain, like every time that happens, it can be discouraging. And like,
Yeah.
and there's a thing at the very beginning before any of this happens, the fear of the blank page, that is
Yeah.
debilitating in one way, and then there's this other stuff that's debilitating in a different way. And like I've come to, every, like there's that mantra, like trust the process, and whatever. And
Yeah.
I you personally, you talk about, you love mixing, you love all
Hmm.
the, and when you and Pearl start talking about that stuff in our band thread, like I'm like la da 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 da, I'm like, I just like, I have like the propeller hat and like a sucker, and I'm just like doop de doop de doo, like I have no idea what's going on. I don't want to know. I'm sort of like, I'm like, I'm just like, can I go play the guitar now? Or like, um, so like you have a different, like, you have like a different perspective on that part of it, because you're like, that is part of the art for you. And it's a part of the
Yeah.
art for me as well. Like, I think that, as I've spoken enough about how like things like standard standard issue production ideas like bother me, and
Yeah.
that I like I could say like, oh, I pride myself on like our records sounding different from one another and sounding different than other records or whatever, and you have every right to hear me say that and be like, yeah, they sound like shit, other than like, that's your opinion, you know what I mean, but they do sound
Hmm.
different, and like I pride myself on that. And so like the mixing is part of the art for me, and it is a part that um like I do take seriously, and I do I respect it. I respect everyone that does it, just like
Hmm.
any part of this. um but it is it is a part that like I I struggle through in a way, like that, because so much of it is just tedious, you know.
I
And
can see that.
yeah, I mean, you're just like, and also you're just like, there's so much of it where you're just like, and I'm even talking about getting burnt out on it, which like is a thing too, but there's so much of it is where it's just like, I personally just like I maybe there's other people that when they mix, this isn't like this for them. Maybe they're just like their focus is like so laser whatever that like they will notice something on whatever second, third, whatever listen through. But like I literally, it's like I've listened to these songs however many times, 100 times. I don't even know. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
I'm literally bouncing it down, and I'm like, what was that? You know what I mean? Like you're
Mhm.
like, whoa, what was that? You know? And I'm literally like, I've got the like final mix version 17.2, you know, or whatever, because
Yep.
like
Yep.
because I thought that was the master, and then I loaded it onto Bandcamp as private, and I'm listening to it on Bandcamp like to see if just to make sure nothing's weird, and then I hear what happened there, like did I kick the microphone like right before I did that vocal line, and I've not noticed that the other 100 times that I've, you know what I mean? So like
Right. Right.
there's that tedium of um like oh there's a pop there, or what's happening in these fields where like you can't find anything wrong with any of these one particular channels, but when this guitar hits at the same time as all these drums, like there's a weird noise there, and how am I going to fix
Hmm.
that, you know? And just like all of that stuff, I'm just like, you know, and that's like it, not the fact that I have a like and have never like the computer that I have now. Thank you, Aster. Is you know the setup that I have now is way better than the old one.
Hmm.
I can manage way more than I could then. Like I don't have to like do nearly as much guesswork, but it's still not like I can just run whatever the fuck I want all the fucking time, you know? Like
Right.
and especially like, you know, it's still definitely where like I should turn off a lot of the plugins before I save it, before I close, because when I open it back up, if all the plugins are still on, it'll take like half an hour to load the session. You know?
Right.
So
Right.
like, so you know, it is still like what it is, but like, yeah, it's just I don't know, like all of these things combined, you know, are just like they make that part of the process like they make it challenging for me in a way that's like not artistically challenging, but like it's mentally sort of challenging and taxing in a way.
So,
Yeah.
so when you go to mix again, I want you to put this into perspective. Um, so for me, when I'm recording and when I'm mixing too, but like when I'm in like the production zone, whether I'm recording myself, recording Tiff, whatever, I can hear these micro timing problems that like nobody else can hear, and in a month I wouldn't be able to hear. But like I'm so fucking locked in that everything is dog shit. I I love recording music, but I actually fucking hate tracking. I like there's nothing I hate more. Like if there was a way for me to like just like look at my guitar and be like do that and it just happen and go on a track and obviously like this isn't like an endorsement of like the AI bullshit or anything like that. It's just that's my huge struggle. So when I finally get something down and I'm like, this is bearable, I can live with this. And like not that any of my recordings are perfect or anything. Like there's definitely issues and everything. And issues is subjective, but the point being, I don't get a lot of gratification out of that, even when the guitar is all done. But like part of the reason that we do this is because like when you finally finish that album, it feels good, right? Like that's your super super delayed gratification.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm mixing, I get a taste of that, and that's why I love mixing.
I see. I'm the total opposite. I love tracking. Like I love tracking so much that like I will like I'll have a take that was perfectly good, but I didn't feel good while I did it. Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel good enough, and I'll do it again, and I'll save the other one. I'm not a sadist, you know what I mean? I'll save it.
Right.
But like I'll listen to them back, and I'll be like, I cannot tell the difference, and I'm just like, but that one I
Right.
felt good when I did that one, so we're keeping that one. You'll be able to
Yep.
tell for sure that I just was like loving it. I was having the time of my life. But yeah, I mean, like that's I don't know, like which is I don't know, you know. But you put me but somebody says like I need you to make a video so I can learn these songs, and I'm like the exact opposite. I'm like I've never touched a guitar in my life. I don't know where you're, like
Right.
when it comes to a video, I'm like I don't know who do you need to do that, cuz who plays these songs? It's not me.
Right.
But you know, hit record on the DAW and nobody else is here, and I'm just like, oh, this I could do this all day long, you know, like Captain America in the elevator. But yeah, it's I don't know, I love that part, and I feel like, you know, it's like that with guitar. It's not so much like that with vocals. Vocals is different. Vocals is like
Yeah.
me having to know what I'm doing, and having to know like there's no I mean it's I you know like you there is like a bit of improvisation where it's like you mess around with the way you say a word or whatever, but
Yeah.
like it's it feels more tense to me, the vocals thing, because you know, you're mentally putting yourself in a different place that's not a nice place sometimes. So
Yeah. True that.
yeah.
I have sobbed at the microphone more than once.
Yeah, I mean, me 2 days ago. I wasn't at it though. I was four or 5 feet on the other side of it on the ground, which, you know, stuff happens. And sometimes it ends up on a record, and it will end up on this one. So, yeah.
I can't. I'm gonna ask you more about that later.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so you've said I know you've said this before that The Mirror is your favorite album. Is that just your favorite Coma album?
Like that I've made.
Yeah, like what is your favorite record out of like everything that you've done?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's my favorite album that I've made. Like out of
Wow.
any album. I think, you know, to be honest, like
I say, I say wow like the album sucks or something. I think it's
No.
incredible too. But
if I had to pick a number two, it'd be Worn Through. Like,
hell yeah.
and that is including.
Yeah,
the
I
other
wasn't
Coma
even
albums.
counting that.
But it's funny because I have said this to you in private, but I was like, this is The Mirror Part 2, and
Yeah.
and like I don't know if that's going to connect to anyone else, like where if they listen to this and then they listen to that and they go, oh, this does feel like a bit of a through line, even though it's like a different band, different vocalist, different everything, you know, like
I did ask someone to check that comparison for me because like I was struggling to see it at first and I was like, does this hit you right away? And she told me yes. The
Yeah.
friend that I
yeah, I think I'm one of the I wrote a song once called "The Thief Who Craves Capture," and that song to me is like I don't like to over explain my songs, but it says it all right there, right? The thief who craves capture, because I like to do things and I like to see if people are paying attention, and you know what? No one ever is. Like no one ever knows, and so sometimes I tell people, I say, hey, this is this, and people are just like, oh, is it? Is it though? And it's and sometimes you take that like you're like, oh, I didn't do a good job of like because like this isn't obvious, but like yeah, I think it's really fun to do these things where when someone finds it, like they feel special. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I think
Yeah.
that's, there's there's something there's a there's like a secret on like every one of our albums that somebody could find out this thing about this album. And I'm not even talking about like I'm not even talking about like hidden meanings or whatever. I'm talking about there's stuff that's like overtly like right there. And
Hmm.
somebody could figure this out about these albums and they can message me and be like, what about this? And chances are like you'll be the first person that ever messaged me that. There's only been one person that has messaged me one thing about one of our albums, and I was like, you're the only person that's ever like, and it was a friend. It's someone who's been my friend for like 20 years, since a chameleon,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and he was just like, I caught what you did right there, and I was like, you're the only one, and I think it's so obvious, some of it, but like it's you're not looking for, it's like Superman and the glasses or something. You're not looking for it, so. But I think it's fun when, I can't think of anything specifically from like albums that I've enjoyed where it's like similar, but
Hmm.
like I just think, if you find that thing about that album that you love that makes it just this other thing as well as the music and the message and whatever, you find this other thing too where you're like, oh, even if it's corny, like,
Hmm.
I mean, that's cool. I don't know.
Yeah. I've started to do a little bit more of that. What one thing I'm not gonna I'm trying not to be a post-mortem bitch all the time because I always want to post-mortem everything. Um, but when I mastered the Comfort Object record, I used a room convolution reverb. It was one from that Purified Audio plugins that we grabbed. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I created. Well, I mean, I used one of those rooms, and I tweaked it to my own taste. So I created a preset room that I put Comfort Object in for their master. Um, and when they did guest vocals on Party Tank, I put them in that same room from the album master, um, for what did I call it? Narrative continuity.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
like
panda
nobody would ever
rooms.
know that. Yeah, the
Yeah,
panda rooms
yeah.
exactly. Nobody would ever know, but I know, and I thought it was neat.
Funny band story. Anai from Plague Walker hates pandas.
What?
Yeah. How? Yeah.
I've never met a panda, but I feel like I would love them.
Yeah. Me too. But like, yeah, I don't know. She hates pandas. We were just chatting about this like last week. Yeah. This is like, I'm like, damn, how do you still hate pandas? But yeah. And then you see like an AI panda video and you're like, now I kind of hate pandas. And it's just AI ones though. But yeah. Um yeah, no, that's fun. Um I don't know that I don't, you know, my stuff's way more obvious than that. That's all I was going to say. But yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
you have like a lot of stuff where it's like, you know, you saying the Dead Milkman, like you responding to my Dead Milkman show that way doesn't surprise me now because like you have a lot of stuff where it's like that kind of thing was like really big in the like mid 90s for like punk and like skate punk and skate thrash and stuff to have like it's sort of like a meme in the recording, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was a lot of like crank calls in the middle of a song, and stuff like that, and you're really like leaning into that for some of your stuff. And I enjoy it, but at the same time I'm like I know like I'm like when that part comes on, then I'm like the song is over, and I enjoyed the song, but now I'm, going to the next thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm old now. I'm like, look, I only have time to listen to however many songs left in my life. So, you know,
Right.
bring me some bangers. I'm in, like,
Yeah. You know, part of the fun for me for Weird Outdoor Cats versus Daisy Gold. So with Daisy, especially like on our Grief EP, like I felt like I needed to play like everything super straight. I didn't feel like I had room to shit post, as it were.
sure,
But
yeah,
Weird Outdoor Cats is like my opportunity to like have fun with it.
yeah.
Like the possum track was literally, I made that as a joke and I sent it to Pearl and I was like, this kind of goes hard. I think we need to put this on the
Just got to go on. Yeah,
EP.
no,
um,
no, it's cool. And I'm
like
always like, you should do weirder shit. Like people should do weirder shit, and I respect
exactly,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, like
So I feel like I'm unlocking my weird shit era.
yeah.
You know.
I made a record that like, only I don't know how many people listen to it. I'm not gonna look because like I'd probably cry or something. But like I don't know how many people listen to the last Coma Regalia album either. I don't know. I don't look at those things because they were too depressing for me. Like it's like this song's 45 seconds long. Like why are people skipping it? Like like what could you possibly have to do with that other 20 seconds of your
Right.
time?
Right.
That's like, I'm. But anyway, so like, yeah, I don't know. Long story short, if I put on your album, I'm listening to the whole thing, like the first time, at least. But
The
anyway,
first time.
yeah. But anyway, my like I was just saying, like I made that Mot Luda album last year, and
Mhm.
I was like, yeah, no one's gonna listen to this, and as far as I know, no one did, except a couple people did, and a few people were like really really enthusiastic about it, which I was surprised. Like there were people that had talked to me about things that they noticed after listening more than a few times. And when I was recording it, I fully was like, this is an experiment. I'm going to finish this. I'm going to like have listened to it like while mixing it, because I recorded everything just like on the spot. So there was no listening to it and listening to it like in that end. It was just like while I was mixing it, it was like blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to listen to it like a couple times after it's fully done. And I probably will never listen to it again. And I found myself like listening to it more and being like, oh yeah, like, and sort of being like, I am really surprised that this worked the way it did. And
Yeah.
I don't know. So like, I'm always being like, yeah, you should be weirder. And like, I'm, I've got a, I've got a folder that's like fucking like 100 ideas for like the next Mot Luda, which is like I said, I'm not writing this stuff beforehand where it's just like, when I say ideas, it's literally just like typewriter, like it's just
That's sick.
that's
Sick.
that's the idea. It's like accordion,
Mhm.
like, so like, I'll do another one and maybe it'll be weirder. I'm like, this one has to have blast beats at some point, stuff like that,
Mhm.
but yeah.
Yeah, this was back when you were having all the computer issues and stuff.
Yeah, and
Interface issues, right?
I was
Two
like, I don't.
channels.
Yeah, I had just got this computer set back up, and I had no plugins,
Oof.
and only just what came with Reaper, and I didn't know how. I didn't like, I didn't. like I say, I'm saying I didn't know how to use them, and that sounds really ignorant. Like when you're talking about like someone that's been recording music for 15 years, but it's like I just didn't. I never opened these plugins up before, and
Hmm.
it's like they're supposed to do the same thing, but it's just like they don't feel like they're doing the same thing sometimes. Like
Yeah.
this EQ does not feel like it's doing the same thing as the one I was used to, and this compression does not feel like it's doing the same thing that I'm used to, and I was just like, I more or less was like, look, I got a lot of shit that I should be mixing, but like I don't know how to use this stuff, and like I need to make something. I need to fucking make something. And I've been saying I was going to do this thing, so I'm going to do this thing. And it's an experiment in learning how to use these new things, and it's an experiment in trying things I've always wanted to try, and it's an experiment in, you know, all these things. And it was fun. It was fun. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't like, I was over here with like, my wife had a thing where she was like growing mushrooms in this like plastic like tent thing for a minute, and so
Hmm.
she had this like humidifier with this like really long like tube that's like it's like a crinkly tube um that like is like one that would go outside from your dryer or something, but it's like smaller. And I'm like, what if I did vocals through this? That'd be fun. And so you just do it, And
Hell yeah.
yeah, and then you're like, what if I use the crinkly tube as an instrument? And then you're just doing that next, and you're like, whoa, that was fun. And I don't know. Then you're like, using the bell that was on the 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 like foot cart that your wife bought when she had her foot surgery last year. You're using the bell that you jokingly bought for her on that as an instrument, And
Hmm.
I don't know, it's like I don't know. That's why I was like that. This is like so much. I get into that. I get into the weeds about like just like music, and like it's like obviously like you're expressing yourself no matter how you do this. You're expressing yourself, and it can be one thing or it can be the other, but like it's it's just so much fun to just
Hmm.
like I don't know, to just go for it like in one way or another, like even if even if nobody listens to it, even if you only made 14 CDs and no one has bought a single one, like, but you got a few people that are getting them for free, and they're stoked as hell that they're gonna get them, but like, you
Hell
know,
yeah, I am.
yeah, like I don't know. That was another experiment. You're like, oh, I wonder if I could make a piece of paper turn into the CD sleeve, and you're like, go through like 6 months of like folding paper up a bunch of dumb ways. And finally you're like, no, this is sick. And you're like, the minute someone opens this, they're never going to get this back together. And like, I have some, there's like, honestly, there's a sick satisfaction I get out of that as well, where I'm like,
Yeah.
but yeah, a friend of mine was once like, you should make instructional videos how to put middleman releases back together. And I was like, yeah, I should. Just, for I'll stress out and take an entire day to film a 3-minute video for the 14 people that own this CD.
Right, right. Um, so I was going to say earlier, so my favorite Edie release, this is the one that like I I would want people to hear before anything else. I think this, and then I'm gonna say this wrong. You have to forgive me. Owl Tamacia.
Yeah, Altamacia.
Um, So the first one would be the Body of West record.
Oh. Yeah, that's
I
that's a
I think that's like I don't even know if it's like the best thing you've ever written, but I think it's my favorite like as a full record. Like I love everything on it, you know.
yeah, that's a that album is technically Coma Regalia canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like thematically.
Oh.
It's thematically canon. So, like in the overarching like meta narrative or whatever. And maybe it's not meta. Maybe the narrative isn't meta. I don't know how these things, you know. But in the overarching like story, there's like there's like I don't know. I'm not gonna get. I got into it when we were making this album, and I was like, I sound so dumb, so I'm not gonna do it again. But there's like basically there's two parts to to the stories that go through our albums, and that's part of one of the parts, and the
Okay.
other albums are part. That's like yeah, I don't know. It's one of the first parts. I'll just say that, and ours is the other one of the first parts, even though it was like the second album.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I don't
You
know.
know, it's
None of this shit's
it's
in
it
order. It's not in order. It just
it's
is what it is.
interesting because like you know screamo like I used to very much be like a lyrics girly. Like I would be, you know, laying in bed with a CD with the booklet out and, you know, learning every fucking word. Um but like, you know, I'm an adult and most of the time that I'm listening to music, I'm driving and, you know, I might be listening on my phone from Bandcamp or whatever. And there may or may not be lyrics. So I have such a hard time like remembering song names or like knowing all the words anymore and it feels bad, you know. But so I feel like very much like out of my depth to even know where to start with like uh the Coma Regalia lore as it were, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't have to. You can just like what you like. It's fine.
Well, that's not the point.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
um
just I if I was gonna like it's just like I said, I don't I said more in this last recording session than I ever intended to say. So like and that's not on air, you know what I mean? So that's
right,
that.
right.
But also like every time when I write these albums and I start doing the vocals and something happens or this happens or that happens, then I'm like, you know what? This album's kind of not about what it was about like a month ago. And
Mhm.
that's fine. Sometimes like with Illa Vectes, like I rewrote the lyrics to that so many times. It was ridiculous. Altimacia was like that was that was a really that was a blessing for that because I was like we got like 2 months to do this album. Like
Damn.
start to finish. And that's everybody living in different states and
Yeah.
like learning the songs in their own way and then them all being recorded and separately and then them all being mixed and everything like that. And but yeah, we were just, you know, we were about to have a show and I was like, what if we made an album before that show, and we dropped it
That's
the
so
day before the
Edie.
show. And and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be wild. Like people are, you know, people be like, where'd this album come from? And it just like, and it was kind of just like what you said. It was just like nobody batted an eye because it was just like something like it's like, oh yeah, here she goes again. doing the thing she always does, releasing an album out of nowhere and being like, you can buy this tomorrow at our show, even though you didn't know it existed, So it's kind of the same thing, like with All the World is like, people will be able to buy it out at our show on the 20th, and it won't come out until the 25th, which is Jason's birthday. Happy birthday, Jason!
Happy birthday, Jason.
Who did not play on the album, but also Jason's favorite album is Valfalgo, which was also released on his birthday before he was ever a part of the band. So
Yeah.
that was a coincidence, but
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear the new record because I've heard, I think it was just the 3 demos from it. I don't think I heard more than that.
I'm not sure. And they turned out a bit different than the demos as well, because like I said, I did the drums on the demos, and when I hit record and those sticks start clicking, it's time to go. It's go time. And and then when you play with other people, and then you sort of settle into different grooves and stuff, and then it's like, oh, okay, this works this way, this works this way. And then, I don't know, like, then you start introducing, like, other songs that weren't part of those songs, and then everything starts making more sense, and then, like I said, you have one idea of what this is, and then, halfway through, you're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even just the Worn Through album, I felt that way huge, like really, really big time. It's like when you sent me the demos. Well, I mean, they weren't even demos; they were just the like not really mixed versions.
Yeah.
And I'm recording vocals, and I'm listening to them for like a long time, and then I'm recording vocals. But what came out, like, even after I recorded vocals, when you had finally mixed it, I was like, oh, that's what this record is. Because it was like way, way, way heavier than I even knew that it was. And I think that that trans amp, is that what it's called?
The bass. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it. Like the fucking sound of that bass DI amp thing.
Yeah.
Distortion.
Yeah. That one's huge. R.I.P. the Trans Amp. Now I've been doing different things straight in. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna start. I haven't done this. I mean, this doesn't have anything to do with All the World. Like Nate just sent me the bass, and their tone is like incredible. So like, not a lot to do there, but
Yeah.
But with the other stuff that I've done, I've just like I put a metal zone right on it. I have a Boss like bass distortion as well, and but I actually like found excuse me, I actually found that I like that on vocals, which is weird. I probably shouldn't do an affected vocal as like the final unchangeable vocal. Like I probably should do like 2 lines in, but
Yeah.
but on guitar and video games, like I did vocals through the bass distortion pedal, like straight through it. And I was like, you know what this does? This does like that, like Power of Failing Minerals vocals. Like it does that, whatever they were doing with like the pass filters or whatever, to where it's like these sound dry as fuck, but like in an affected way, And I I don't know. Anybody who knows anything about mixing and stuff listening right now is like, yeah, you dumbass, you just do this like this, you know. You don't go into, you know, the board with an effect on the vocal. That's idiotic. But like, you know, that's how I roll. I can't have options later. I have to be, you know, you gotta.
Well, and you know, it's like back in the day, that's what everybody did. I mean,
Yeah.
it was all destructive editing. There was no let me rethink this plugin from a week ago. You know,
Yeah.
You put that much reverb on your vocals. Well, you better do another take, or you better learn to like this reverb.
Yeah, you recorded those drums under the stairs, then that's the way. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's the way it was. But I don't know. It's that's another. I mean, that's another thing. Like just like what I was saying before, where it's just like, you know, I don't. I mean, all of this shit is so fun to me to try. Just like the thing with the Worn Through album with the guitar in with the microphone in the acoustic guitar and being like, you know, being like, I wonder if that's like a real thing that actually is cool, and sort of being like, well, for some things it's cool, you know.
Right.
Or I did it wrong, you know. Either, you know, you be the judge, but for some things it really did work out, and yeah, I don't know, like that's that part of me that is never, like, that's why this is never going to get old, because you can always try some bullshit, you know, that like you can always try something else that like you just heard of or you just thought of for no reason, and see like if that makes your record like unlistenable to people or not, you know? If that makes somebody at Brooklyn Vegan say that it's lo-fi or not, you know.
Oh my god.
But, like, I don't know, and I shouldn't have said Brooklyn Vegan specifically. That's like literally everyone is like, this production is lo-fi or what. Like every one of our albums is like a low, like what's, like, I don't know if they even use the words lo-fi, but that's the thing that somebody is always like, the production raw, you know, that's the word that people use, a raw production. You're like, yeah, it's not really, it's like the post production is what's not, like, I feel like it's just like, if you're recording into a FirePod, like that's not raw production. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
You just, I don't have as nice a mics as other people, and like, but like, we're past the point of something being raw. It's like, I didn't polish it later, you know? Like,
I mean, you had 4 mics on the drums, like you had SM57s, or, you know, maybe a knockoff version or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fucking lo-fi.
Yeah. I literally have recordings on my Bandcamp right now that were like 2 microphones into a 4-track recording the entire band, you know, including vocals. So like, yeah, that's lo-fi. That's raw, you know. That shit was raw, because when we were doing it, we were playing guitar and we were doing vocals at the same time, and we were leaning over and yelling into the mic to find out, like, we did this a couple times to find out how close to the mic we should be when we were screaming, so you could still hear the vocals, and also, and like, we literally recorded a 4-song demo that way, and that's raw, because that was raw on my back. And that was raw on like my patience, and you know,
Right.
Yeah, that's raw, baby.
one question, and if you don't want to talk about this, because I know this can be an iffy topic. A project you loved but never came to fruition.
A project that I love that never came to fruition. The thing is, I'm gonna make it happen. That's the thing.
Yeah,
So, uh,
like X Diana X.
yeah, just like Diona. I mean,
Diona, sorry.
oh, it's fine. It's a possibly embarrassing reference, except if you know the reason, then it's not embarrassing. But anyway, um, uh, yeah, I mean, like I'm gonna make it happen. So, it's it's there hasn't been one. There's been a couple times
Yeah.
in the past where there's stuff that like you know like Dance and Destroy is a big one, I guess, because we did that 7-inch, and then we tried to go on a tour, but we got fucking snowed out on this tour. It was like the worst blizzard that like this area had ever seen and
Oh
still has
God.
ever seen, and that was like 27 years ago or something.
Hmm.
But and like by the time that 7-inch came out, and we like and we were gonna go on this tour and all this stuff, we had like that 7-inch is 10 songs, and by the time the band broke up, we had like 30 songs,
Oh
and
damn.
I wasn't the drummer anymore. I was a freestanding vocalist, and we had like all these other songs, and I just feel like these songs were still weird. We were still a very weird band, but I just feel like we had gotten to a point where like we would have been like not we would if we would have been able to record those songs, we would have been like looked at in reverence to
Hmm.
other bands of that time, as opposed to a curiosity, you know
Yeah.
and and it's pretty much just like you know the it's just like the drummer was in another band at the same time, and the guitar player, like there would be conflicts with like whether we could play a show because the other band was playing a show, and that's all understandable, and that's not to say anything about the other band or the drummer at that time.
Hmm.
But the guitar player, one of the guitar players, just was not cool about that kind of thing at all, and said a bunch of shit, and the drummer quit, and it was
Oof.
like, we're going to get another drummer, like we can't go back to you being the drummer because like the energy was too right, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was like breaking my teeth at shows and stuff, like literally. But so, and then the band fizzled, the band disappeared, and there's an ADAT of a live show which I've heard before, and it was really good. At least I remember it being really good, like
Hmm.
for a live recording. And this tape has supposed to have been on its way to me so many times now. Seth has it, and Seth was literally like last week. Seth was like, "I'm sending it to you." Because Seth brings it up on Facebook or brings it up on Instagram every once in a while. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, we would already release that if you just sent it to me. I do know somebody that could work with that tape. Like, who like, shout out Steve Roche. That's going to be the first person I hit up when I get that tape.
Yeah.
Steve Roche at Permanent Hearing Damage, like, one of the goats, like, and like, huge friend of the show, like most consistent and supporter, like as far as like sponsors and stuff of the show. So like Steve is going to be the first person that gets this tape, as soon as I get it, like, and I'm
Hmm.
like, it really does exist, it's getting overnighted to Steve to make a thing out of it, but Yeah, that's the one. I mean, like it was. We have the 7-inch to show for it, and that's really cool. And I still think the songs are really cool for what they were. But we, we were a band for like a year or something after that, and we wrote so many more songs, and they were like, they were, like I said, they were still weird, but they got like less weird, and they got like more like, oh, like, this is a band that kind of knows what they're doing now,
Yeah.
and I wish that people could hear some of those songs, and hopefully one day they will.
Hell yeah. Okay, so if you could collaborate with someone that you have not collaborated with yet,
Oh, this is easy. Jay Robbins.
Jay Robbins.
Boom. Jay Robbins. I fucking, so like, yeah, no, just off the top of my head, just like that. And like,
Damn.
the drummer from Islet, like, works at Jay Robbins' studio, and so like, and Matt, who is the drummer from Islet, Matt Redenbow, like I was gonna have Matt on the show once, and Matt and we got like some wires crossed and stuff. Hopefully Matt will still come on sometime soon, because I love Matt and I love Islet. So I was chatting with Matt around the same time when Coma did that Jawbox cover, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry if this is fucking corny, but if you could show Jay this cover. And Matt was like, no, this is sick. Like, Jay will fucking love this. So in theory, Jay has heard something that I've played on. So in theory, Jay knows I can do something. And so in theory, this could happen one day.
Oh, hell yeah.
So,
I really had no idea who you were gonna say.
Yeah, hit me up, Jay.
Obviously, you've collaborated with like a lot of people. I don't know. I think I was expecting you to say like Ian MacKaye or something.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's not a collaborative ideal though.
Yeah, no. I don't. I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like Ian MacKaye is probably the kind of like, you got to be in a room with him, and you really got to feel things out, and you really got to like know each other, and you really got to, you know what I mean? Which is like,
yeah,
I wouldn't have any problem. Like, I don't have any problem like getting to, like, I try to get to know the people that I do collaborate as much as I can, because I don't want to collaborate with people and then find out that they're weirdos or creepazoids, or weirdos in a bad way, not weirdos like I'm a weirdo, but like, you know what I mean? So like, but I feel like Jay Robbins is one of those things. Like, Jay Robbins totally seems like, and also he's just like one of the fucking greatest of all time. But anyway, like, he's like one of those people, like, it seems like you send one idea and he sends another idea back, and then the next thing you know, you're like, holy shit, I'm making a record with Jay Robbins, and we've never even been in the same room, and this is sick, so just like, yeah, call me. I mean, but don't, because I don't have a phone that works, so find another way to get a hold of me. There's plenty of ways. Like, I'm obnoxious, so you can figure it out.
He could probably subscribe to the Human Machine Patreon.
You could do literally 1 million things to get a hold of me. Like, you could literally do so many things, and it's like, it's absurd how easy it is to get in touch with me. It's despite not having an actual phone. Like, I mean, I have one. I have a physical phone, but it doesn't. It's like, you got Wi-Fi? I'm on Wi-Fi. The wifey.
Oh my god, the fucking the boomer hate my wife joke. It's like, Wi-Fi. What do I need a Wi-Fi for? I already have a Wi-Fi hate.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, I don't know that one. I don't know that one. Yeah. What do I need that for?
So it was like 5 days ago or something like that. Guy Picciotto, Rites of Spring, Fugazi,
Yeah.
obviously. He's doing vocals on an album for like the first time in a really long time.
Just like one song though, right?
Is it just one song?
I think so. Because there was like a
Okay.
track list in it, and they had parentheses in it featuring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm less interested, but
Yeah, well, I mean, it is still interesting. I mean, like
Yeah.
the Blood Brothers people and like, Guy Picciotto or I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Italians. But like, like the
it's
Blood
Pride
Brothers,
Month, Edie, come on.
the Blood Brothers, and then like Guy Picciotto like on a
Mhm.
track, like that's interesting as fuck. But like, yeah, but like, I don't know. I did that single that came out. I believe it's called Animal. That single where I was like, this is the weird, the we didn't start a fire for like screamo homosexuals. Like this is like it's awesome, but it's like that vocal line. You're like, this is we didn't start the fire, but like, but it's screamo, which is like, look, if that's what you're doing, I respect it because because I've done it. Like I've done it. There's a deep cut. I've only told one person about this, but yeah, there's a Coma Regalia song that's an Elton John song. So like, I'm there. I'm right there with you. You're never like you probably won't catch me though, but I caught you. Like I caught you. I'm sorry, I don't remember the person's name. Shit. Why I think it's Mark, but I know it's not Mark. I know that's not the person from Blood Brothers' name. I can't remember now though. But anyway, I caught you. It's cool though. Let's talk about it. Come on the show.
Right?
Yeah.
Get Guy Picciotto on the show?
Yeah, give Guy Picciotto. Yeah, that'd be. Yeah. First, I have to learn how to say your name correctly. Like person whose music I've listened to for 30 fucking years.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. Which is I'm covering a Fugazi song this year.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, as Diona.
Okay.
Yeah, Diona's gonna do a song because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough bands to do this. Just like every year, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough bands to do a double sized comp because it's 10 years. So I better do a whole bunch of songs. So I just like slated myself to do a bunch of songs, and I'm like, that'd be sick to do this song as Diona, And so that's what we're doing. But yeah.
You know what would be really sick to see though?
What?
Coma Regalia cover the entire Suffer album.
Bad Religion?
Or, Edie anyway. Yeah.
Oh.
That's the only Bad Religion album I like, and I love it.
I think it's a good album, but it's not my favorite. My favorite is No Control.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like I heard No Control first, and they're, like they're all similar enough, that like the first one that you hear is the one,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we covered Bad Religion last year though, so
Yeah.
because I was like, I need a song that I don't have to learn, because I only have like a few days to do this, because like we were supposed to do a different song. Yeah, I don't know. I like that album, but I for a long time I was trying to get different bands where I wanted to do a full album cover of Armor for Sleep, Things to Do When You're Dead.
Oh
So
yeah.
I think that'd be fun. But
That's an incredible album.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I just thought like, yeah, it'd be awesome to have different people do it, and maybe have like one person mix it, but obviously don't make it sound the same, but just like have one person mix it so there's there's
Unity.
there's a steadiness to it, like don't make the band sound the same, obviously, but like there's a steadiness that you can where you're like, it's not, there's no jarring sense of like I'm getting taken out of the album, as a whole,
Right.
you know. But yeah, I've had that, and I mean, the one, I mean, For Your Health was supposed to be on it, but I mean, that's not. I'm not like throwing anyone under the bus by saying that. I mean, I'm not saying like it's their fault, they were just one of the people that were going to be involved. And then, it's just these things happen. It's like there's a few people that are interested, and you're trying to round this out, and everybody wants to do the same songs, and you're like, I need people to do these other songs. And then people are like,
Yeah.
well, I'll get back to you, and people don't get back to you. And eventually, I mean, it wasn't anybody's fault in particular. It's just like, that's the way these things go sometimes. Which
Yeah.
which makes it, I mean, sometimes it's like it just really makes you appreciate the things that do happen, because you're like, how did I do that? Like, what the fuck? How did I manage that? That's wild.
Saw that fucker through.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I realize we've been on here for like 2 hours now. Um, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about that we didn't get to?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thanks to everybody that listens and just like shares episodes and sends me messages and says like stuff like, that was a great episode, or whatever. Because I when I first started this, I was really interested in being like, I'm going to ask these specific things, and I'm going to, whatever. And anymore, I don't want to do that, because like, I don't know. I felt like, it was a lot of, oh, okay, well, like, maybe people don't want to talk about this kind of stuff. So it's just like, let's just find out what people do want to talk about. And when you start talking about something, and then you realize they do want to talk about this, or like whatever. And sometimes it feels like sometimes, I mean, this isn't just with this show. There's some shows that, like, I listen to your show. I know you ask the same questions every time. Like, I've listened to it more than once. Like, I'm not going to call anyone out, but you know who you are. Anyway, like, and I know that, like, it feels like that sometimes, because you're talking about music. You're talking about what do you like about music. You're talking about what really gets you going about music. So I know these conversations, they can feel the same, like, but with different people. And I don't care. Like, I have such a, like, good time just, like, doing that. And I appreciate anybody that, like, is like, well, here we go. I'm just going to listen to her talk about how cool music is, like, for another hour. So I appreciate the fact that,
That
like,
fucking rules, you know?
that like, it may be a little samey, but like, so there are some people that, certain times, like, these particular angles you get into really connect with people, and that's all I want to be doing, is just like allowing somebody to tell their story, and allowing, like, people to hear where other people are coming from, and getting to, like, hopefully expose people to new music that they've never would have heard of, and get sometimes get some answers to, like, hey, why was this like this when you made this song, or whatever, but usually just like finding out, like, really, like, what drives people to keep doing this and to do it the way that they do it. But yeah. Also, like, obviously, just want to say that, the U.S. is in a fucking absolute hellscape right now. To be trans, to be a person of color in the U.S., whether, whatever. First of all, obviously, no human is illegal, but it doesn't even matter, like, your legal status in this country right now. It's a fucking hellscape for anybody who's not white, and who's not straight, and who and even if you are, if you just don't look the right way right now, right? It's an absolute fucking shit show out there. So, like, anything you can be doing to, like, help people and to keep people safe and lift each other up while, like, this same fucking 100 pieces of shit, like, take and pilfer this entire planet for everything it's worth. Like, anything you can do to make each other's lives better, to protect each other, to keep each other safe, like, to spread, like, just love. Like, thank you for that. And that's a wrap on episode 300. Thank you all so much for listening. And whether this is your first show or you've been here through 100 episodes or more, I really appreciate you taking the time and spending it with us. Thanks also to Valentine, who originally won the raffle, but decided to pass the hosting duties on to Aster. And of course, thanks to Aster for doing an excellent job of guest hosting. And big thanks to today's sponsor, Permanent Hearing Damage. Steve, you're the best. Don't forget, if you're still here, to go to our Patreon at patreon.com/humanmachine, where you can sign up to support the show, read zines, get music sneak peeks, and there's going to be so much dropping there in the coming months. With all that said, I just want to reiterate, thanks again to everyone who's out there doing mutual aid and whatever else you can to make this world a better place. Until next time, take care and do good things.